episode number 5 of the Golf Front Podcast. My name is Brett Bevilacqua. I'm a realtor with Carolina Property Sales in Southern Pines, North Carolina, who really likes to play golf and sell golf front properties. This week, I profile Beacon Ridge. I've played this course more than a few times and for good reason. It has a great layout with no shortage of fun and interesting holes, and my favorite attribute, it is also inexpensive. 11 miles and about 20 minutes west of downtown Pinehurst in West End, North Carolina, you will find the Beacon Ridge Country Club. Beacon Ridge opened in the late 80s and was designed by Gene Ham. Ham got his start in golf course design with Robert Trent Jones. He built and designed over 60 courses, including both courses at Foxfire and the Magnolia course at Pine Wild Country Club. Ham also won 3 professional golf tournaments, the 1966 North Carolina Open and the 77 and 78 Carolinas PGA Senior Opens. Beacon Ridge is a par 72 at nearly 6,300 yards from the back and just under 6,200 yards from the whites. It has a rating of 71.4 and a slope of 136 from the back tees and 70.4 and 131 from the white tees. It starts off fairly easy with a straight and short par 4 with generous landing room for your tee shot. I really like easy and short first holes, especially since I play so much in the winter. It is sort of a break if I didn't have a chance to warm up on the range previous to my round. One last note on the first hole, left off the tee is not where you want to be. Obviously anywhere on the fairway is fine, but the left rough off the tee makes for a tricky approach shot. The second hole is a 400-yard par 4 that attacks you and sets the tone that Beacon Ridge isn't a pushover. The hole starts off from an elevated tee box, and once again, if you miss the fairway, you are better off right than left. There is a water hazard on the hole, but it isn't reachable off the tee. The elevated green is heavily sloped back to front, and it isn't an easy 2-putt. The second has double bogey written all over it if your first 2 shots aren't on target. The third hole is an uphill 120-ish yard par 3 that is by far the shortest hole on the course. It might be worth your time if you can check out where the pin is placed, and much like the first, this is an easy hole and the only trick is not hitting your tee shot over the green. The easy odd and tough even holes continue with the fourth, 330-340 yard par 4 with a tree on the left side of the fairway about 265 yards out that will most likely block your approach shot to the green. On the right there is a fairway bunker that leaves a relatively small landing area, so it almost forces you to thread the needle with your tee shot between the tree and pond on the left and the trap on the right. The small pond runs from the front to all along the left side of the green. If you miss the green left, you are in the water. There are 2 bunkers right that can be tricky as the green is very thin, and it is easy to clear the green out of the bunker and still find the water hazard. The fifth is a treat for those of us righties who fade our drive. The right side rough has an extreme slope that will kick your drive back into the fairway. A slice, on the other hand, will most likely end up in someone's backyard. If you are a big hitter off the tee, you can get to the green. I recently knocked a ball around on the left side trees off the tees and was still just 20 yards from the green. Stay away from the bunker on the left. It isn't particularly tough to get out of, but anything less than a grade out will hit the trap's lip or easily clear the green. The sixth is a very lengthy uphill par 3 that plays about a club more than the posted yardage. Most players will reach for a hybrid or 5-wood to get there. I recently teamed up with a threesome from Fort Bragg, and the largest of the 3 got there with an 8-iron. I came close to tossing my 5-iron into the woods when I teed up after him, and still came up short. There is a bunker left, and the green is so much tougher on the left side than the right. I have had no luck with one side of the green or the other. I don't think I have ever parred the 6th, even when I've hit the green in regulation. The 7th is a short par 5 with a slight dogleg right and just 460 yards from the back tees. If you are like me, you might want to put a little extra on your drive in hopes of playing a mid-iron onto the green and getting there in 2. Beware, there are a pair of traps in the left rough and trees right, but of all my rounds at Beacon Ridge, my tee shots have only hit the short grass once. And of course, after I found the fairway, I immediately hooked a 5-iron pin high next to the street. Next time I am at Beacon Ridge, I will go back-to-back 5-woods and lay up with a sand wedge for my first par on the 7th. Who am I kidding? I will go driver off the tee and hope for the best. Though the par 4 8th is 340 yards from the whites and 365 yards from the blues, it feels like a whole heck of a lot more. The 8th runs uphill to a very generous sized green. At just over 500 yards, the par 5 9th is a pretty easy hole if you can keep it in the fairway. I cannot, and that's why I'm good for a double bogey every time I step on the 9th. The 10th is a wonderful, nearly 500-yard par 5 and one of my favorite holes on the course. In fact, I really like the back 9. Brutal par 5s, a pair of easy par 4s, then a short par 3, followed by 5 holes that are all extremely challenging. The 10th starts off from an elevated tee box where you hit into a valley. There is room left, but the middle of the fairway is the safest place to be. From there you hit back uphill to an elevated green that is protected by 4 bunkers, of which 2 are cavernous, and of course right in front of the green. If the pin is up front and you end up on the back of the green, it is likely you will end up rolling off the front of the green. The 11th is a short par 4. It is a little bit of a dogleg right. If you go left, even center fairway, there is a good chance that you will run down the slope and into the woods, even on wet days. Best bet is to play your tee shot over the bunker on the right-hand side and then a wedge to the green, 2-putt, and a par. Aside from the 14th, the 12th has got to be the easiest hole on the back 9. It is a medium-length par 4 where you can't see the green from the tee, but it is straight away. The only trouble is a bunker on the extreme left side of the fairway. But other than a hook, you should avoid any trouble. The green is one of the more level putting surfaces on the course and certainly the easiest you will see for the rest of your round. The par 5 13th is in my opinion the signature hole at Beacon Ridge. The dogleg left is the longest hole on the course. 13 forces you to play it long. There is water left off the tee that requires a fairly long drive to clear. Best bet is to play a bit off to the right, and I don't think getting there in 2 is possible for most, if any, golfers. That aside, the green is inviting and will leave you a legit shot for par if you can reach it in regulation. The 14th is another short par 3. I needed to club up to reach the green. You may want to disregard my advice as I have never played Beacon Ridge on a warm day. The green has a good bit of undulation and what would seem like an easy par while standing on the tee may have you rethinking that notion as you line up your putt. The 15th is what I call a round wrecker. Off the tee it doesn't look intimidating, but you will need a perfect approach shot to a shallow and elevated green. As you will see, the green is protected by a bunker that you will want no part of. The green is also treacherous if putting from back to front. Carry a wedge with you if you are in that situation. The 16th is an interesting and long par 3. There is a small pond that shouldn't come into play. The green is narrow and you are much better off at playing slightly right as there is a small slope that could kick you left back onto the green. If you go left of the green, par will be unlikely. The 17th is a medium-length par 4 that, like the previous hole, has a water hazard that should not come into play. Though it plays between 350 and 375 yards depending on the tees, it feels every bit of 400 yards. The fairway is uphill to a steeply elevated green. There is a trap in the left rough that you need to avoid if you are looking for a par. The 18th is another medium-length par 4 and, like most of the holes at Beacon Ridge, feels much longer than the scorecard indicates. The tee box is elevated, and it is a classic Sandhills hole where you land in a valley and play it back up the hill to the green. The green is quite tricky and very easy to 3-putt. Beacon Ridge is a great course and a remarkable value. I give it top honors for bang for the buck, and it has an ebb and flow to it that spares higher handicap players, yet still enough of a challenge for better players. Chances are, if you give me a call and say, "Brett, let's play Beacon Ridge," I will find a way to join you. I love this course. Greens fees for Beacon Ridge run anywhere between $35 and $65 with a cart, depending on time of year and time of day. Again, Beacon Ridge is a great value. The layout is challenging, the course is in great shape every time I have played, and it is among the best of the affordable courses in the Sandhills. There are also membership opportunities at Beacon Ridge. For more information, rates, membership, and vacation accommodations, visit their website at beaconridgecc.com or give them a call at 910-673-2950 to book a tee time. In terms of homes, you can get a lot for your dollar if thinking of moving to Seven Lakes West, where Beacon Ridge is located. There is no shortage of golf front as well as waterfront properties in the area. If you want to learn more about Seven Lakes West or anywhere else in the Sandhills, give me a call at 845-365-3665 or send an email to Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at hmpfilms.com, and I will show you all the area has to offer, and maybe we can also play a little golf. Once again, I'm Brett Bevilacqua with Carolina Property Sales. See you next time at the spectacular Mid-South Club when we talk golf and golf front properties.